Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Captain Clyde's MTG, and today we have an interesting topic I came across. Magic the Gathering's monetization is worse than a mobile game. So, this is something I definitely wanted to talk about, and I'm sure the comment section might get pretty livid on this one, and if it doesn't, I'm sure you're just all crying inside. Anyway, got my uh, internet fixed today, yesterday, whatever. So sorry I was gone for a little bit, but it was yeah, let's just say they rewired and replaced all my equipment. So yeah, pretty sad. And in the words of the tech support guy, I quote, "I've never seen this router. How old is this thing?" End quote. With my response being, quote, "That's the one you gave me when I got my subscription." Anyway, moving on. So with that being said, don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 people. And today we're going to talk about, is Magic the Gathering monetization worse than mobile games? So we all know Magic the Gathering is getting more expensive with rising prices, high-end products tailored to whales and other people as they try to really push the collectability of this game moving forward. So it's very interesting. Let me just there we go. Now, with that all being said, some of the things that this particular article talks about here is how Magic the Gathering is an expensive hobby to keep up with. Wizards of the Coast keeps introducing top-end products for obscene prices that target small minorities of big spenders. Wizards raised the price of new sets by 11% last September. That's true. We're just now starting to see that increase as now box prices are anywhere from 110 to 105 for draft, which is way higher than we're used to seeing, and up to 120 for set, moving up. And also, the cards are more expensive than ever on the secondary market. Now, that, um, I'm going to have to say that's a big no for me. Now, there's two ways to look at that. The first way is if we're looking at things on the reserve list. Yes, reserve list cards are expensive. They have been expensive. They are going up, but they're actually coming up from a downturn, so they've actually been cheaper than they have been before. Now, when you see things like we talked about lotuses and stuff, and matter of fact, another lotus just sold for another record price of almost 600,000. Those are really niche cards. A majority of Magic cards are honestly worth nothing. Um, so keep that in mind. Also, with the reprint value and equity there is to reprint cards into these high-end sets, to put $40, $50 cards into a reprint set, knocking the price down to 10 to 20 at best. Um, the secondary market's actually kind of taking a wash on that as Wizards keeps that revolving door of reprint going. So it's very interesting. So that's kind of my thing on the secondary market. Some cards are expensive, but those are mainly based around reserve list cards. Anything on the reserve list is fair game, and is normally drove down in price by Wizards reprinting because they've learned that by doing that they can sell these quote unquote where is it top end products for obscene prices to people, and that's what's going to really affect the secondary market. So I don't have a complete agreement on that one, depending on how you look at it. And then it also talks about Magic the Gathering just surpassed 1 billion annual revenue for the first time. It's not surprising fans are worried this trend is only going to get worse. We know that. We've seen the trend get worse. We've seen Wizards do everything in their power to try to get as much money as possible out of this product. And to be honest, Magic the Gathering 3 was that first time that we saw it. Also, the new Lord of the Rings is their second wave of that, where now boxes are like 500 instead of 1,000. So yeah, they're trying real hard. So and then down at the bottom here, it talks about Wizards released 4 Magic the Gathering sets a year, with each one offering bundles, commander decks, 4 types of boosters, and usually more. Every new set shakes up the meta, and players often need cards from the latest set to stay competitive, especially in cutting edge formats like Standard, where the cards rotate out every 2 years. This is true. This has always been a downfall to Standard. Uh, and what's really funny is lately the power creep has been so bad. These new sets are producing cards into the Eternal formats and causing Eternal format shakeups, where we didn't really have that so much before. And now with new sets coming in straight to Eternal, like Lord of the Rings, Battles for Baldur's Gate. I know nobody likes the set, but it made serious changes in the format because of things like Initiative. They're now printing cards straight into those formats that are causing the same kind of shakeups that normally only Standard was used to seeing. So it's really becoming fair game for anything, honestly. So yeah. And then it talks about here, diehard fans can easily spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and it's only getting more expensive. Wizards releasing more and more products tailored to the highest spenders. This is true with collectors, Secret Lair, and everything else. Notice it does say that, there's 4 sets released each year. Where did I read that at? I swear to God, I read it. Anyway, it is 4 sets a year they release. Oh, here it is. Duh, it's underlined. But also remember with that, those are just the 4 sets into standard. We already know we're going to get 4 sets this year into standard of 2023. But what we're also getting is we're going to get Lord of the Rings, Commander Masters. Now we're up to 6 sets. This doesn't include any secret layers, and they're averaging almost a secret layer a week, it seems like, with all these big, long secret layer bundles. And I bet there'll be more than just the 4 sets this year plus the 2 premium sets. There'll be more. That's just the way Magic's been rolling, for quite a while, honestly. As much as they've been on them to pull that back, it really hasn't changed much yet. And I'm not sure they're smart enough to change it because all they're doing is making more product and getting the same kind of money. Because in the long run, people spend the same amount for the most part. Yeah, they can pull in people from other products like Lord of the Rings or whatever, and it does generate some extra money. But the people who already spend money are not going to spend any extra, so they're actually watering down their content. And I know a lot of stores, I've mentioned this before, if they're spending $100,000 on product a year, they're still spending 100,000. They're just spending it on smaller amounts of products, which means print runs have to be cut back, or they're just going to bleed out into the market. And we've talked about that as well. So also, if you go down here, it talks about this. Today, most players would agree Match is getting too costly, topping the prices. Talks about the anniversary edition for 1,000. We've already done that. This where there's player outrage for that. Does have diehard fans and collectors who love the products like this, but they are vanishingly small minority of Magic the Gathering's enormous player base. Wizards have acknowledged itself that most MTG fans are casual players who don't want rare, expensive prints or top-end products of hundreds of dollars, so it's no surprise the player base is frustrated. Let me tongue twist that. But yeah, so they've realized that they tried capitalizing on that last year with it. They called it the year of Commander, where they did a whole lot of Commander targeted products, and it really didn't go well. While almost all the sets went under, even the Commander products went under. They realized you can't target casual players with these massive dollar amount products because they just won't buy them. And if they don't buy them, that means the stores won't buy them. If the stores don't buy them, that means distributors can't sell them, which means everything you printed ain't worth a damn, i.e., stuff in a landfill. Anyway, check out video out. Anyway, so here it talks about the upcoming Universes Beyond, which is a big announcement with Middle Earth being the next one. The collector boosters have roughly 1 in 3 million chance to contain a one-of-a-kind serialized print. I don't have a problem with that, only because, let's be honest, it's a one of one serialized card. Someone's gonna get lucky, and God bless them for it. But it doesn't justify the high price. But it is a way to sell a product and actually make really collectible cards. They also have some soul rings in there that are collectible. I like that too. We went over that in a previous video. But I think they did the right thing. I just think they're still charging too much. And I think they're going to find that out the hard way when this stuff goes to market. The collector boosters are most expensive. Magic has to offer retailing at around $40 each or $460 for a box of 12. Yeah, and that's for Lord of the Rings, not for normal ones. But the normal ones are getting that expensive too. They're getting close to that kind of dollar range where they're selling for around 300 when they first come out. Um, it's gonna get crazy. Uh, in case you guys didn't notice, lots of people have been asking several different things about that ring. One person and some collectors have been offering up to 100,000 to whoever finds it if they will sell it to them. Somebody else actually came out and offered 50,000 if they took the one ring and went and threw it in a volcano. And as cool as that would be, it's hard to turn down an extra 50,000 to keep it. But if someone's got the gall to do that, or someone who's got extra money, please throw that thing in the ring in a volcano. Oh, that would just be hilarious. And on flavor, not gonna lie. So, talks about monetization getting toxic. Unsurprisingly, fans have illicit comparisons between Magic and mobile gaming. So that's a new one I haven't heard yet. Especially predatory monetization like Diablo Immortal. Talks here about how both are full of expensive products tailored toward the biggest spenders that strictly aren't necessary to play, enjoy the game. Different versions, seasons, and sets for anybody willing to part with their cash. So the one thing about this I think is a little different than predatory monetization of things like mobile gaming is at least in Magic you have something to physically hold and collect. If you've played any mobile game, let's take Diablo Immortal for example. Somebody talked about to be the best that there is in your class or whatever. It took like $20,000 worth of loot box buying, quote unquote, which they showed, which is probably correct. And it's all digital, so once the game is gone or whatever, there's nothing to do with it anymore. At least with Magic, if you spend that kind of money, you could actually probably resell it to somebody later. But at the same time, I do see the comparison and why it's there. So, um, there's that. It talks also here, let's see, facilitates the buying and selling of cards, which is something you can't do in a mobile game. We usually need to purchase cards from secondary markets. Um, off the car, some of the best standard decks can cost hundreds of dollars to put together, and with 4 sets released a year, just like a mobile game, players need to regularly invest money to stay competitive, and over time it adds up. That is also correct. So that is something very close to the predatory mobile gaming app style. Like I said again, though, the only difference is sometimes these cards do age better and are playable. Unlike mobile games, people don't sit around and go, "Hey, you want to bust out Angry Birds and play a game with me?" But it is very similar, and I can see why they kind of make that comparison. So, here's a neat one: how to offset rising prices. Let's take a look at this real quick. Uh, let's see here. Buy pre-constructed commander decks and don't upgrade them. Do booster drafts only, so you get the cards along with everything else. Um, all in all, though, there's not a real good way to protect yourself from this game or anything like that. I think the one thing Magic has going for it, even though as similar as it can be, I guess, from these examples, close to a predatory mobile game, is the fact it's not digital and therefore you have an actual product that you could trade later, unlike digital games. Um, I guess that's really the only difference. Uh, I mean, when you look at this kind of comparison, I would have to agree. What do you think? Is this a toxic, predatory mobile style game, except you actually get cards you can trade later, so you get a little bit of a refund? Or is it just as bad? Tell me down in the comment section what you think. And thanks a lot for sticking around, guys. I do appreciate it. You want to support the channel, don't forget to subscribe, and there's links in the description. Until next time, be kind, and I hope to see you across from the game table.